So Metabolic Collective is sort of, it's like the volunteers that Brain Energy or Metabolic Mind won't be using, because Metabolic Mind has, I think, 7 employees. They don't have an infrastructure for volunteers. And same with Brain Energy. They do other great work. They do the research and all the output and all the informational. So then we are a grassroots movement. Basically, our mission is to build these grassroots communities. They could be online. They could, eventually would like to connect people locally that are advancing awareness and access to metabolic therapies for psychiatric and neurological disorders. So, you know, our vision is that we envision a world where metabolic therapies are widely adopted. So, for example, I think one of the really exciting ones is I don't know if we're going to change the name, but if you go on the website, you're going to see Advocates for Access, and Natasha Smichaels, who is a registered psychiatric nurse who put her ADHD in remission. She's leading this. And so say you want to present this to your local church or library because you have a lived experience. And I know Christina Cook, who you just interviewed, she went into her older son's high school psychology class, or I can't remember what the class was, and she presented. So this would help her, where we have a template set up where people can use it. And Natasha's creating a whole library of slides depending on who you're presenting to. So so you have a template, and she's also going to do some training videos if you're not comfortable presenting. So there's a great example of a service that we could provide for free. And then Robin and Stephen T are going to be leading. We will have some social platforms on X and Facebook to talk about Think Plus Smart strategies from Metabolic Mind. Then we have a neurology work stream. We do want to connect people with clinicians and just raise more awareness of this and bring people together. But big picture, when everybody hears about us, and we want to have a directory where people can find each other in their area, and that you could create other groups with people. It doesn't have to be sitting around, let's tell us your how awful it was and what, you know, what are you using but for metabolic therapy, but to actually have a mission. So together we are working toward maybe visiting clinics, or it's just a hiking group. And as you're hiking, you can talk about it. You can feel the support. You can feel the connection. And hiking is a metabolic therapy. Connection is a metabolic therapy. The website's fantastic. It's got lots of resources on there now. And eventually, I think we'll have roles and positions. We've taken it very, very slowly. We have a legal team that volunteers. And come on, everybody, let's get together and raise awareness, you know. And eventually, if we have donors that and we don't, it's not about asking people for money. That's not what we're about. We just think, we hope we find some donors that, you know, philanthropists who believe in this. And then that kind of money we would use maybe to support people to take training or to get training to be a leader in their area, things like that, you know, scholarships and maybe even, you know, I don't know, like we're kind of like just evolving and seeing how this works, but it's really coming together beautifully. So that is the Metabolic Collective.
All in one little nutshell. But this concept that's not quite finished its building stage, but to bring it locally and to form these small groups, and that the small group doesn't have to be the same here as it is there and as is there. It's just that we're having these conversations and we have this community, like you said, that in and of itself is a metabolic therapy, and where people could just go and it's like part support group, but it's also just community involvement, and it's also getting the word out. Or I think we all have the same connection in that once we find this way of eating and it changes us so much, we get very impassioned to do something,
right?
But it's hard to figure out what the thing is that we want to do. So the collective is collectively gathering all these little things that we can do and helping to share how you can pick the one that works best